Good morning, good afternoon. Don't say goodnight yet. This is Max with the RHMax show. We've got a AMA today, a security AMA. A lot of my background goes into security and working professionally in it for a long time. So I feel fairly qualified to answer your questions about crypto, about computer security, network security, opsec, whatever it is. I think I've got at least a little bit of experience in most of the areas there. So I wanted to provide some more utility to the community and just give an hour or so just for y'all to come in, ask me questions, and if I don't know the answer, I will either search live or I will follow up with you offline or ask you to follow up with me, and I'll try to get them answered for you the best I can. So again, get your questions queued. We've already got one from BRS I'll get to in a second. But yeah, what do you all want to talk about? Let me know. Let me know if you want to, what questions you want to know about or what topics you want me to just talk about. If I know about them, I will. If not, I'll tell you I don't know too much or I'll have to look it up or something. Share the link. Send it to the Telegram channels, post on Twitter. Let's get some good questions in here today. I think a lot of people can benefit when we have more people, asking questions and all that. I've got my blog pulled up. This is where I publish a lot of the material for, when I have an idea or I want to talk about something, or maybe I don't know that much about something myself and I want to motivate myself to do research. I will start a blog post. I'll start, writing one, and then I'll get into it and do the research and produce content that way. So if you haven't went there yet, I'll put it in the chat. You can go to rhmax.org/blog. And that will take you to what we're looking at. And I'll just kind of keep it up throughout the conversation just so you can, because we may, reference it. I may click on it from time to time and kind of walk through depending on the questions. So if you want to follow along, head over there. Click around, try to look at different stuff. If you have questions on something there I've written too. The latest one I've had, as you can see on the top of the page, I did a 3-part series. I would say 3-part on smart contracts. So smart contracts, creating an ERC20, so creating your own token, and then malicious smart contracts, which kind of builds upon some of the free claim stuff, the be vigilant on free claims I did not too long ago as well. So I guess maybe a 4-part series. I want to say 3-part series of smart contracts, and then the free claim was kind of like on its own, but they kind of go together. So if you want to know how smart contracts work, blockchain fundamentals stuff, you can start there and then go into, hey, I want to create my own token. I want it on the Ethereum testnet. I want to go literally create your own token. And, I can do it in a few minutes because I practiced and I'm, well-oiled machine and stuff with that. But yeah, it may take you an hour or so, create your own token, deploy it on testnet. It's really not that hard. You can use a lot of the open source libraries to do it. It makes it super simple, even without much dev or coding experience. And then learn about security, malicious smart contracts portion. And then, of course, be vigilant on the free claims. And that kind of covers all the free claim security stuff. So what's up, Bugs? How's it going? Appreciate you joining me here. Yeah, again, share the link, everyone. Let's get as many good questions as we can here. I'll be here for as long as people are asking questions. And Crypto Sloth, yeah, what's up, man? I just posted it in the Sloth's Telegram channel. One of my favorite channels, probably the channel I'm most active in, actually, because I don't use Telegram that much. But that channel, I do tend to post and talk to and communicate with people, and a lot of good people there. I like Sloth and all the folks that he tends to attract. I see another question coming, McMahon. Yes, I will. So I'm just going to queue them too. McMahon, number 2 in queue. Appreciate it. Get that RHMax Alpha. Try to bring alpha. I try to bring substance. That's another thing. I don't monetize my channel. If you've been following me for a while, you probably have heard me say it before. I don't monetize. Just goes against a lot of my principles. That may change in the future. I don't know, but currently I want to maintain complete control of my content. I don't want to be thinking about, if I say something, I'll get demonetized, blah, blah, blah. I just don't want any of that stuff. I don't think you make a lot of money anyways. So luckily, I'm fortunate enough to not have to make my living on YouTube. I'm in a good spot there. So I'm just going to I'm gonna, create in the way that I think is best fit, and that's what I like, making money. I'm gonna make it outside of YouTube. Yes, sir. Outside of YouTube, I will make that money. I don't like any strings attached, and YouTube tends to put some strings in there, as I speculate. Sloth did crush this morning. 2 super chats on. I can't turn super chats on. We just explained that, but yes, more hex. More hex. Yeah, actually, I don't want anyone to give me money. I don't want donations. I don't want to sell you anything. I don't want to do any of that. I just I want to bring value in the skill set that I have. So I will get my own hex, sir. Thank you for that, though. Let's see. I'm about to get started. So before I hit questions, I'll just go through a little bit of general just to set you up. Then I'll get to number 1 in queue, which is the BRS. That's question number 1. But yeah, so in general, nothing is secure. Security exists on a spectrum. There is no black and white, secure, not secure. It doesn't exist in pretty much any vertical in anything, physical, digital, whatever. It doesn't exist. Anything you can do on your computer, I kind of explain like this, someone else can do on your computer if they have enough resources and talent and create the right weird machine. As if you Google for weird machine, if you never heard it, you probably never heard it before. It's a security thing. But if they have enough resources, time, effort, whatever, and you're somehow a target, anyone can, anything that you can do, access to keys, coins, whatever it is, they can do, because the functionality is the same. It's just how they go about it, whether, that's internal way they call certain functions, or, you click a mouse. There's a lot of different ways to do stuff. So first of all, nothing is secure. Anything you can do, someone else can do on a computer if they get access to it. Locks on doors and safes are jokes, honestly. If you really think about it, like first principles thinking, they only keep honest or undetermined people out. Anyone who locks, they open a door and they lock it behind them, they're not saying that door can ever be opened. Or if they, if they are, they're kidding themselves. They're just different kinds of locks. Oh, I'm going to go buy the best lock ever. Yeah, it's just going to take, a thief or someone else 10 more seconds, 10 more minutes, whatever it is to get in. Safes, again, you got enough time, effort. You got this way, you got big machines. There's other things to set up that can make it less attractive, make you less of a target, make it harder to do. Security. You have private security outfits and stuff that de-incentivize people to do stuff like that. But in general, locks and safes and stuff, they're jokes. They're not. There's something to keep honest people out. That's about it. There's no such thing as a secure lock, a secure door, secure computer, secure safe. It's just how long it takes to open it, how much time, how much effort, how much expense the person needs to spend. You're not going to spend $1 million to open a safe that has $500 in it. So that's kind of an analogy, abstract type of way to think about it. Not just literal as well. And cryptography. So computer side cryptography is just a bunch of math. I'm going to put it very basic level. A bunch of math that takes a long time to solve without the right answer. You don't have the right answer, brute force. If you ever heard the words brute force, try a bunch of different combinations till something works. That's basically the attacks on cryptography you have these days. The reason that cryptocurrency is secure as of today is because the algorithms and stuff used are so, I don't want to say secure. What I say besides that? They're so good at what they do based on the current technology that they can't be, cracked or brute forced or whatever in a reasonable time frame. If it takes 1 million years to brute force some key to your private key, nobody's going to do it because nobody has 1 million years to do it. It's just not worth the effort. So that's why, everyone's like, oh, quantum computers, that would allow governments to break Bitcoin, Ethereum. Yeah. And then we just fork into another one that they don't have control over. So that's, you can fork, get rid of if something breaks like that, you can fork, say that network's not valid anymore. The new one is, stuff like that. And when it happens, eventually it will happen, next 30 or 40 years, the math will be, there'll be some breakthrough in computers and we'll be breaking all kinds of things, and we'll just upgrade the technology. And a lot of stuff will, some things will be easier than others and things like that. But for blockchains, it's not a big deal for a lot of blockchains, the main ones at least. So we're all doomed, right? Everything's just there's nothing secure. We might as well just give up. No, that's not really. I mean, while all that stuff I just said is true, most people get along fine. They aren't hacked. They aren't targeted. They live their lives pretty much, not without disruption, thankfully. And because most people aren't worth hacking. Most people aren't don't have, $1 million sitting in a safe somewhere. So lucky you, huh? That you're not, a big enough target for stuff like that. Now, if you are, of course, there's opsec and stuff that comes into that. Don't be flashing your stuff. Don't wear crypto shirts that have words and crowds of people. And, that's, I don't know, there's a lot of stuff around that too that makes me a little uneasy. So I tend to wear a lot of abstract stuff that, thankfully, Hex is not taken over the world yet. So not a lot of people know that symbol actually means crypto, for better or for worse. So anyways, that's the intro. I'm looking at chat. It's probably a mess because Jerry Upsmith is here. Yep. Like I said, yep. Always like Jerry. What's the difference between rope from it? Ooh, that's a good question. Resolute. Okay, Resolute. Put you number 3 in the queue because we're about to get started. How do you spell Resolute? I forgot how to spell Resolute temporarily. Okay, number 3 in queue, and also number 4 in queue, and number 4 in queue. Okay, let's see. So now let's get to the questions. Again, go to the blog if you want to click around on some of the recent stuff I did, a lot of security stuff as well. And I'll be referencing it. I'm sure people ask questions. I'll probably click around there too. But first question from BRS. Hey, Max, for my onboards, I often suggest as a starting point, a sterile laptop only used for DeFi, access the internet via phone hotspot, and we like that phone hotspot, and the seed phrase storage. Okay. Sterile laptop, access to internet, phone storage. Yeah, that's interesting. So you said phone is hotspot. That's actually a good mitigation of Wi-Fi and stuff too, in a way. So that's a interesting way to do it. What are the risk factors for that approach? I found they don't want a hardware wallet. Yeah, hardware wallets are a bigger onboarding deal because they cost money, and you got to set them up, and it takes time, and it's just not easy. So do you want to do stuff that's not easy? No, nobody else does either. Big surprise, right? So yeah, I totally agree with your they don't want to do hardware wallets first. So let's go to the root of what you're doing so far. So sterile laptop, that is. So you could frame this question this way: how do you set up a new crypto account, generate keys, blah, 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 in a way that limits your attack surface and limits your risk of, leaking and stuff. So sterile laptop, I'll address that first. Very important. Basically something that, you can go crazy, like build your own computer and use your own parts and, don't get it shipped because it could be, what if they redirect it and, backdoor it in transit and all this stuff. You can go really hardcore, or you can just, pick one up off the shelf Amazon or wherever. A new laptop preferably. And I say new not because you can't use an old one, but new because it's going to last longer than something that's sitting around your house. If you want to keep it for a long time and use it as your machine to do all this stuff, it's just best to buy a new one if you can find something you like, and you're going to invest some money if you have enough money to do it, of course. But it's just going to last longer than a hard drive that could die and an old one that you've been using forever. And you just try to reuse that. So I'm always proactive in that stuff of, hey, I want everything to kind of last forever or last as long as possible. When I do stuff, I don't want to do it twice. I don't want to lose data, stuff like that. Of course, you want to, you can back it up. But now if you put in a backup hard drive, now you've got to encrypt it, and you've got to take care of it and use strong passwords, all that stuff too. So that's the first part. Yes, sterile environment, something that's preferably new or super formatted that isn't only, you need to access the internet eventually to interact with the blockchain. But, maybe you only do Ethernet. A lot of people only do Ethernet, so they don't have to deal with, they turn Wi-Fi off, disable the adapter, all that stuff. They turn Bluetooth off, all remote communication they disable in some way. You can use a hotspot. Yeah, that makes, I could see that. It removes some of the Wi-Fi attacks, I guess. But again, there's not a lot of people going to be attacking you at home. Like, not a lot of people just like driving by, like, oh, I'm gonna hack you from my, if you're not a target, So hotspot, Wi-Fi, I would say just straight Ethernet if you have an adapter in your laptop or whatever you're using, or just get a USB to Ethernet adapter and plug it in if you still have the ability to do that. I don't know if people still plug in Ethernet. I do, but I know not the average person. seed phrase and seed phrase storage. So seed phrase storage, that's an interesting one. So hardware wallet, you have that to generate it and kind of give you that 2FA that, has something you have. It's something you have and something you know. Something you have is the hardware device that you plug in, and something you know is the PIN number for the hardware wallet. So you still have, your recovery seed phrase that you need to keep somewhere safe. Or you can use the Shamir backup deal, which basically turns your seed phrase into shares. And you can say, okay, I want to make 5 shares. And I'm going to say I want to require 3 of these shares to recover my seed phrase. So you do it, and then maybe you lose one or somebody steals one or whatever, but you still have the 3 intact. You can still access your keys. So that's the basics of Shamir backup hardware. Some hardware wallets support it. I think maybe I'd say both of the major ones do, Ledger and Trezor. So anyways, tangent on that, but seed phrase storage, it's always pen and paper, of course. How long is that going to last? You got to think about that. What kind of ink you're going to use. Not all magic markers are the same. Definitely do some research on which ones the ink doesn't fade in, doesn't, just mess up in some way. You don't come back 5 or 10 years later and the ink is just like running everywhere and you can't read anything. That'd be horrible. And then you got metal. So there's, what's it called? Seed. Actually, I made some notes on this looking at it earlier today. I think Jexa, is Jexa's company? Jexa has something to do with it from Liquid Loans. I think it's called Seed Vault. Yeah, so Seed Vault. If you just Google for Seed Vault, I'll type in the chat. Look at that. Go to YouTube, subscribe to their videos and stuff. They're really good. They have metal wallets, and you can actually take a punch down and punch down your seed words in the metal using a metal tool and screw it together, make it look blank on the outside. They give you tamper-resistant tape, all that cool stuff. So you get a clue if you've been compromised because somebody's opened it. You assume they read the seed words and it's compromised and stuff. So that's pretty good. There's attacks on hardware wallets. If anyone wants to ask me questions what attacks they are, I'll go into that. But I wouldn't say they're, as I said first, nothing is 100% secure. So, but I can talk about that if you want to. But so what are the risk vectors for that approach? Well, the risk vectors, the sterile laptop removes a lot of risk vectors. A lot of the most common ways people get hacked in crypto are not having a browser that's out of date. Honestly, that's like the most boring advice I can give. Always update your browser. Do not browse the internet with an out-of-date browser, for example, because a lot of exploits and stuff come through that. Or letting someone else on a computer who may do something or may just trigger some other malware that gets on there. And one way or another, you get malware on your computer. That's how a lot of the stuff, a lot of the attacks come from, whether remotely or locally or whatever. You can connect to Wi-Fi and click the wrong stuff. That can happen too. Hardware wallets remove some of that. So I don't want to come back to hardware wallets because I know in this case the onboards aren't super interested, but essentially removes that attack surface because you're basically taking your computer, which is a fully functional device that can run everything, including malware, and you're trusting a tiny device that has has Ethereum wallet on it, Bitcoin wallet, whatever, on your hardware device, and it's got a super tiny attack surface. And can malware run on it? I'm going to theoretically say yes, because anything can happen anywhere. But it's much harder 1,000 times harder to run malware on a hardware wallet than it would be a regular computer. So risk, you want to do it where you're going to make sure no one else has access to it. Your internet, again, Ethernet would be best to make sure there's no wireless shenanigans. And seed storage, whatever you choose on that, but just make sure it lasts forever and no one else can get to it. And you can use the Shamir backup deal where if somebody does, you create 5 different shares of your seed words and somebody steals 1 or 2 of them, you put them like 5 different places or something. Somebody shares 1 or 2 of them, they don't get access to your keys, but you still have access. So that's something to look into too. I'll type that in the chat. Shamir backup. Google for that. All right, good first question. Let me scroll down the chat before I go further. Let's see. Jerry's got a question. Put you at number 5. Number 5. Magic Carpet Ride. Might have already answered. I'm not sure. I haven't read it yet. Matt S, what's up, man? Okay. Resolute at Coast. What's up, Resolute? I didn't even recognize the Coast until now. Yeah, what's up, Coast folks? Let's go to number 2, McMahon. So McMahon, sorry. McMahon, are there any lines of code we can search for in smart contracts that would be red flags, or is it impossible for non-site people? That's a great question. Something I haven't directly engaged with yet, because it is sort of, I've been doing my own research, and again, on the blog, malicious smart contracts and the bridge on free claims, those can give you some hints, but again, you kind of got to be a developer. You got to read some code in order to look for red flags. I mean, if you go to, so I'm gonna go to the malicious smart contracts one. There's maybe something that could be interesting here that, non-technical people, or non-coders, I should say, I don't want to insult your intelligence, can kind of look for. Now, the honeypot deal, honeypot is it can mean different things in different contexts, but in this context, for example, it's actually people trying to hack a smart contract because they think they found a bug. So this probably doesn't apply to most people, because most people aren't trying to hack smart contracts, although apparently there's a lot of people who are. They do like a trick here, and you can go to the blog and stuff. I have all these references, and there's a tool, actually a conference person wrote a tool to detect some of these things, where you can see that they do some tricky language around the function calls and stuff to try and get you to exploit the contract, but it actually just takes your money and stuff. So you can read more about it on the malicious smart contracts side. So that's one. I would say the front runner bot is something Richard talked about recently. That's an interesting one, because there's, I think the video is on YouTube. So there was one on YouTube, and then this one, is actually still one available. It's still on YouTube, even though I'm sure they deleted all the people that yelled scam at it. But it touts itself as a regular tutorial. I mean, it's got a really good voice person. I don't know if they hired somebody or if that's actually the person or not. That'd be funny if he was just like really, really well spoken. And it runs you through, and you get 5 minutes in, and it's like, hey, now you need to fund the front runner bot. And basically, you just send your ETH to the address. So in the code, you can look at the code. There's some references to, I think it's still, some of it's still in pastebin, some of it's changed, but some of the things, I would just be very suspicious of some of the addresses in there. If there's an address, it's like, if they start hard coding addresses of things, that kind of gets suspicious. Some smart contracts do that because, they need manager functions or something. They need you actually, for sacrifice stuff, you need, there is some OA, there's some address that holds coins or whatever. But if you're looking at something that doesn't say there's any of that going on, but then you see some of these addresses in the code and you don't know what those addresses are doing, and if you can't read the code, it's kind of hard for me to say, oh, look at the receiving and sending addresses and some of the technical functions that these things are made of. But I would just say, if the project is telling you that there is no person benefiting, or there is no whatever going on, and then you see like some references to different hard-coded addresses and different on this one, for example, if you look at the screen, the import of IPFS, that was immediately suspicious to me, just because I'm like, so they're importing some code or some function or something from another resource on IPFS, which could be anything. So to me, that immediately makes me think, what are they trying to hide? Like, if they're importing something, a lot of times you import stuff, it's from an external source, or if it's from some other file or things generally in programming. And that means it's in the other file. And immediately that makes me suspicious here because it looks like they're trying to put something, trying to put a reference to something and run some code or run some whatever here that they don't want to show you. So that distracts me as the first thing when I saw the video. I was like, oh, that looks suspicious because they're referencing some IPFS URL. So that's something. But again, it's kind of hard if you don't know what the code, if you don't know how to read code, it's kind of hard to look at the code to look for red flags. But that's what I'll say on that one. Good question. All right, I'm gonna scroll down. What we got? Okay, McMon's got another one. I'm gonna queue you up, McMon. We at number 6 now, I think. Jerry, me too. That's funny. I can use step-by-step tutorial loading Trezor. Well, I can give you something on the ledger. So Matt, I'm gonna do number 7. I'm gonna tell you some ledger instructions, which may be pretty similar to Trezor. I have not used a Trezor yet, so but I think they're pretty similar. What else? They went lunch hungry, sir. Well, Unimax, whatever you want, man. Whatever you want. You can eat and listen to me on the stream if you like. That'd be fine. Migrating to Trezor. Yeah. Can't help you on the migrating to Trezor, Jerry, because I haven't used a Trezor. But again, I've used a ledger and they seem very, very similar. It scares me for some reason. Do you think eHex be pump after launch? I'll answer this real quick. This is not to do with security, but I'll answer it. Do you think eHex be a pump after launch? Well, let's see. Me and David Feeder, if you watched our last live stream on Friday, there will be a clip coming up about this. But the question, one of the questions on there was, will the OA ensure parity between the two pairs? And the question kind of came up some of the stuff David was talking about. And that would be interesting if the OA, because Richard has said before, he doesn't want to see cheap hex anywhere. And the OA is pretty powerful. So if the OA felt like there shouldn't be cheap hex anywhere and the prices should be the same, and we think the price of hex is going up, that would mean that they should be, there's some speculation that pHex will, dump. I would say all free coins dump, as they tend to. So that would mean not so good for pHex, at least at first, if you follow that train of logic. But again, maybe the OA is like, OA is their best friend. So they tend to do what's in the best interest for hexagons. That'd be nice. But do you think they will pump after launch? I don't know. I'm not sure. I think a lot of the focus will be on Pulse and PulseX. I think a lot of people will get good deals on pHex, for example, because on the pre-bridge, I think it's going to be pretty irrational. People will be doing some crazy trades. They're going to be wanting a lot of Pulse. So if you have Pulse, you're sitting pretty right now, I think. Especially if you have Pulse and you want pHex, I think you're sitting pretty good position as well. Because I think there's a lot of people that will give up pHex just to get some Pulse, whether that makes sense or not. I see them both living on. Richard said nothing more other than that. OA is very powerful. I think it's a bright future for both eHex and pHex. Good question. Cheers. What's up, Appalachian? Hayseed, okay. I'm going to get to the other questions. We only got to 2 so far. Probably videos later. Yeah, that might be a good one for y'all to check out too. What do you think about Pulse? All right, I'm answering one more question and get back to security. Hey, what do you think about the PulseChain Go update on GitLab? I think something went wrong with the dev. I didn't see that, but I would say I would not assume anything bad happens or would affect people in bad ways. I think the project's too strong. I think the devs are too strong. Will they make hiccups? I'm sure they do, but I don't think it's anything to be worried about. PulseChain Go update online. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just speculation. So I would speculate more optimistically than pessimistically. Better for you too, overall, you know. Let's see. Okay, we're at number 3, I believe. Let's see. Resolute. Here we go. How do you verify that a front end is accessing the correct smart contract? How do you avoid an ice phishing attack? Good question. Well, let's go to, I think I covered that in, I might have covered it in free claims, but let's just go to malicious smart contracts because I'm pretty sure I covered it here too. So let's see. Yeah, ice phishing. Yeah, so if you read the approval contracts page, I'll talk about it here. So ice phishing is basically where the attacker swaps a legitimate spinner address for their own. Basically, you're not checking the address of all you're interacting with. I think OpenSea had some users were affected by phishing and approval attack, which maybe, I'm not sure that was an ice phishing attack, but they had a phishing attack on OpenSea. Let's see, what was my advice on ice phishing, just so I can get a more succinct answer off the top of my head. I think it's just basically make sure you're looking at the right address, make sure you're on the right website. Yeah, so check the contract address MetaMask shows you with a legit contract address. So when you're interacting with a contract, you should go on Etherscan, type in the name or whatever, find the right one, find the one that's got a check mark or it's got something that looks official and all that stuff. And make sure, so first make sure you have the right contract address, the legit one, you have found it. And then when you talk to the DApp and it's asking you to make a transaction, again, you could be at the wrong website. You could be at like, Uniswap with a extra P or something, it could be some kind of, malicious domain you're at. You don't even know because they got a SSL certificate. Anybody can get an SSL certificate, by the way. That doesn't mean anything. So always check the name itself of the domain. There's a bunch of nasty attacks around typo squatting and stuff before too, and like different character sets and stuff. But in general, just make sure there's not extra character or some crap like that, or there's a 0 instead of an O, all that stuff. And then check that address with the one that is on your MetaMask prompt. Again, you could have went to a scan page, you get a prompt that looks identical. So double check. And there's an article on the website, 6 ways a site can attack your MetaMask on bloom.co. If you go to that, they have really good guidance for that too. And again, on the ice phishing, if you go to let's see the references I had here. Yeah, that was on harpy-io, on Medium. So harpy-io on Medium has a really good article. Check that out, and then go to the OpenSea. Again, Harpy is the same link. Probably the same link or similar. No, okay, OpenSea, yeah. And you can read about OpenSea on there as well, I think. So, let's see, question. Let's see. All right, no more questions there. Gonna go back to the page and get to number 4, and that was Resolute number 3 and number. Oh shit! Sorry, Resolute. I answered it in the wrong order. Okay, so I answered number 4. I'm going to number 3 now. Everyone, by the way, again, share the link. If you have a Telegram window open, copy paste the YouTube link. Copy it first and then paste it into that window and tell people to come ask them security questions because there's a security person here. If you have Twitter, tweet this link and say, come here right now, please. And any other communication format that you like, do share. All right, number 3, Resolute. So I did number 4 first. We're going to number 3, then we'll go to number 5. What is the difference between a read permission and a spin permission? Let's see, did I cover this in being vigilant on free claims? Maybe. So there's different permissions you can have. Yeah, so basically, I guess with the read permission, you're referring to like just kind of like approve the DApp, like approve the connection essentially, because I think that's usually when it asks you, okay, it can read your balance, it can suggest transactions, it can do stuff like that. Pretty harmless. So that's something that's basically like, okay, DApp, let me, you can see what's in my wallet to like see what, if it's a Hedron, if you're going to Hedron app, you can see what's in my wallet to see how much Hedron I have, or to prove something, or to, I can do a free claim after, you can calculate all the stuff I'm owed. You can calculate, what I'm able to claim. I can participate in auctions. You can read my balances for whatever reason you need to read them for. And it can suggest transactions. So it can say, okay, based on this, you click this button or whatever, here's the transaction, and now we can do it because, whatever. So those are pretty harmless. A spin permission, though. So did I talk about this here? Spin permission, I believe, is what on OpenSea and stuff you need to automatically, because when you're selling NFTs and stuff on OpenSea, they may ask you to let them spend a certain amount of Ethereum or something. Maybe if you're bidding, auction type of stuff, things like that, you may give them a spin permission. I thought I might have covered it here. Unlimited allowances. Maybe it's an unlimited allowances part. Anyways, if you read the Being Vigilant on Free Claims, if you go to MetaMask approvals, I kind of talk about some of this stuff too. So anyways, long story short, read permission, pretty harmless. Spin permission, be very careful. You don't want to do that unless you need to, but a lot of times you need to because of auctions and stuff like that. But just put some limits on it. And if in doubt, go to revoke.cash, and there's some other websites. Let's see, I think I listed them somewhere here. Revoke.cash, you have a token approval. The Etherscan has a token approval portal that you can use to disconnect approvals and remove them and stuff like that. So when in doubt, remove the permission. So, good question, Resolute. All right. The number of people watching has not increased. So either no one is sharing the link, or, it went up one. Okay, there we go. I'm not going to say any more. There you go. All right. Hold on. I think Jerry said something here. Did I miss one of your questions? Number 5. Hold on. Can I have multiple all right. I don't know what number it is. I'm just going to get to it because I'm scrolling down. Jerry asked, how can you have multiple MetaMask on one Google Chromebook? Asking for a friend. Well, I don't have a Google Chromebook in front of me, but I would, just using my first principles thinking here of how computers and browsers work, I would think maybe you can create different profiles, different like users in the browser, and have MetaMask. And if not, then you can just use another browser. You could do that. You could, at least 2. You could have MetaMask on Chrome, MetaMask on Firefox. I don't know, you install another browser that MetaMask supports, MetaMask on that one. Yeah, I'm not sure why you would. I mean, there's certain use cases why you want multiple MetaMasks, but in general, MetaMask is meant to be like one password that opens a bunch of different accounts. So it's not quite as flexible as you would think it would be in that. You can use one MetaMask to interface with many hardware wallets. Yep, that's true. Magic Opera. Yep, that is true. Should I mention the multiple seed phrases? When you use one MetaMask with multiple wallets, prepays. Yeah, I think Magic Opera answered you on that. You can use multiple hardware wallets, different seeds of MetaMask. Yeah. Oh my God. All right, I'm gonna. Humility asked a question too. Sorry, I missed a couple questions, so I'm gonna answer them real quick. Let's see. Helium Lee. Can transferring scam coins out of your wallet is risky? I don't believe it's risky unless I use the scam DApp to interact with the DApp. A lot of people think this can hack your wallet. Not sure how. That's a good question, actually. So the question essentially is it risky to transfer any kind of token out of your wallet? I don't know how there would be, having researched some of this stuff. I can't think of any risk transferring a coin out of your wallet. Now that's what I'm basing it on. You're saying transferring it out of your MetaMask wallet, for example, to another address. Transfer, not selling it. I can't think of any risk with that. However, with selling it, there are some coins I'm not saying it's that risky, but there are some coins that place limits on selling it. For example, they'll blacklist Uniswap. You'll try to sell it or whatever. You'll get it and try to sell it, and it'll say error because they blacklisted Uniswap's, contract addresses and stuff like that. That kind of stuff you can tell in the code as well. A lot of times, unless they really try to hide it. So right here, code may contain limits on which addresses can sell the token or have a huge fee on trying to sell it. Things like that. So that would be for selling it. Transferring it. I don't think transferring a coin, I can't think of any risks. I can't think of any risk actually transferring it because you're not running the contract transferring it. You're just using the platform. So the only risk comes with it when you're actually using the contract. So if you're using a DApp or something to transfer it or whatever, maybe there's different risks. But yeah, I can't think of anything with just transferring it. Good question. I mean, a lot of people, it's you don't know, right? Something you just don't know. Question: if I put a Red Bull can on top or nearby my router, will it increase my Wi-Fi range? Let me think. First principles thinking here. Red Bull can, it is aluminum. Will it act as some sort of antenna to increase Wi-Fi range? Let me see. Is aluminum can antenna? Can aluminum be used as antenna? Aluminum is a good conducting material and dense material. More dense material means more capability of conductance. Therefore, they can be used as antennas transmitting signal. It says it's been unproven. However, Red Bull can on top or nearby your router doesn't seem like it would block the signal. It may increase it. Great question, Jerry. Great question. Bringing the hot topics here. I like it. All right, let me. Good. Thank you, Jerry. Okay, no more new questions yet, but keep them coming. Keep them coming, everyone. We're only at 43 minutes. Got to get me a little bit tired, okay? Let's go back up. Turn number 5. I think we got Mickmon on here now. If you've any liquid assets in your wallet, it means your wallet isn't compromised, right? If you're hacked, I assume they're taking it all. It's an interesting question. Well, the assumption, of course, you're making an assumption that if you're hacked, they would take it all. If you had some coins in your wallet that aren't worth much, maybe they just want to, get in and out, get your ETH, get your HEX, get your, the good stuff. Unfortunately, talking about this just educational way here. That sucks to get your wallet compromised, obviously. No, I don't think that's any indication that you wouldn't be compromised. So it kind of makes me think, is there a way to tell if your wallet is compromised? Well, if there's transactions that occurred and you didn't do them, so if you look at transaction, you see stuff that dates of transactions that you never opened your wallet, could be compromised. But would you know if it's compromised if they haven't made any transactions? Well, it's like, would you know if a tree falls in the forest, but nobody, you're not there? If they haven't used it, there's no sign of activity other than physically, seeing them walking around with a piece of paper that you wrote it on, unless you physically see them take it. You wouldn't know unless they made some transactions. Scary thought, actually. Hopefully no one has to go through that, especially with pulse launching and stuff. So that's why we're here. Keep your stuff safe. Yeah, good question, Mickmon. Step-by-step tutorial on loading a Trezor. So I can go through the basics of Ledger. Again, this is Ledger, not Trezor, but they're pretty similar. So when you get a hardware wallet in general, make sure the tamper-resistant seal is not broken. If it is, return it. because you don't want to trust it if the tamper. Now, I'm not saying tamper resistant is perfect. I'm not saying there's not ways to get around it, blah, blah, blah. It is resistant. The reason they don't call it tamper proof. There is no tamper proof, tamper resistant. So it just makes, the not so good thieves, gives you security against them pretty much. So, but it's the best we can do, right? So tamper resistant, don't order online. Go to a physical store and pick it up. Go to the factory. Have a friend that works there and get one literally from the factory floor and get people to sign off who's touched it or something. I mean, you can keep going down, these levels of security, but in general, tamper resistance is pretty good. Then you download the Ledger Live app, and then make sure you download it from ledger.com only. Do not download it from Ledger with 2 R's. Don't download it from some GitHub crap. Not saying GitHub is crap, but GitHub like scam repository where a lot of crypto malware is too, among a lot of legit projects, obviously. But you don't want to download it from GitHub if you can download it from the official website. Let's say it that. In most cases for crypto stuff. Connect it. So connect the wallet to your whatever, your laptop or whatever via USB. Choose your PIN code. Usually 4 to 8 digits. You gotta, depending on what kind of device you got, use the little tiny buttons on there. Otherwise. But having the buttons on the device means you can't be keylogged. There can't be a keylogger on your computer stealing your PIN because you're not typing on your computer, you're typing on the device. So that's pretty good advantage to hardware wallets. Then you write down your recovery phrase. It'll ask you a million times to go through it. Make sure you don't lose it, blah, blah, blah. So just do it. Just spend the time. Do it at least like once. Then you got to allow the Ledger manager to check if it's a genuine device, which I've never quite been comfortable with genuine device type stuff because, I come from a background of being on the internet for 20, 30 years. And it's like, that kind of genuine checks are usually for non-pirated software and all that stuff. And I don't like to give corporations access to my stuff, to check it very often, just out of, other principles too. Not that I torrent everything, but just in general, I just don't like being checked if I'm authentic or not, that kind of feeling. But in this case, crypto is money. So I'm okay with the genuine device check because less chance of backdoors. If you don't have a genuine device, you have some knockoff device from China or from Vietnam or whatever place may be pumping out the devices that look real but aren't. They may not have the same security properties and guarantees and quality of materials and stuff. So with crypto, that's your bank account. You want the legit stuff. Then you add your account. It'll install Ethereum wallet on the little device. Kind of amazing how that works. You open the Ethereum app on the device on this little tiny computer. Pretty cool. And let it synchronize, blah, 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 add your account. So if you want to do it with, so how do you get on MetaMask, right? How do you get on MetaMask? Good. It's something that's not quite straightforward from, when you buy a hardware wallet, they don't usually tell you, oh, and here's it, connect MetaMask. They just tell you, oh, just use their manager, right? Because they want you to buy and sell crypto in there. They want you to stay in that ecosystem. But of course, we all want to use MetaMask so we can, get hex and whatever we want. So install MetaMask only from the official Chrome, Firefox store, whatever browser you use. Do not install any other extension other than the official one. Double, triple check it, because that's another risk too, is installing a malicious extension and just steals your coins. So don't do that, or tries to at least. Hardware wallets make it a little harder. And then MetaMask, create a wallet, set a password, skip the recovery phrase because you're doing a hardware wallet. Then go to My Accounts, connect hardware wallet, unlock your device with a PIN, then select your ETH account, whichever one you want, unlock it, and now you can send a transaction. So send transaction MetaMask alone versus MetaMask and hardware wallet. MetaMask alone, you would unlock MetaMask with your password and computer, whatever, and then just hit, do the transaction, hit confirm. With a hardware wallet, you unlock it, same step as before, but then you have to unlock your hardware wallet with your PIN, and you have to confirm the address it's sending to on the little screen on the hardware wallet. It flashes across the address so you're going to match up the address on the screen with what's on your computer, because there's different attacks on that too, like ETH Clipper, Bitcoin Clipper, blah, 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 where malware will get on your computer and it will replace, I believe it will replace your clipboard, which is just like this memory section of your computer that's, allows you to do copy and paste type stuff. It'll put the, the scammer's address or whatever in your copy buffer on your computer. So when you paste it in a MetaMask, it pastes the, the scammer, attacker, whatever, paste their address into the, into your transaction instead of the one you really wanted. So that way, if that happens, you can double check on your hardware wallet. You can read, okay, this, the last 4 digits are B473 on the wallet, but you don't see B473 on your computer, then that's no go. That means shut it down. Do not do the transaction because it's going to the wrong address. So it makes you confirm all this stuff before you send it, the gas fee, receiving, all the amounts, and then you confirm and go. So that is the hardware wallet thing, and did not answer your question at all about loading a Trezor, but now you got to load a ledger and do MetaMask. So no such thing as free lunch, right? When launch? Pure speculation. I'm thinking on this one. I'm thinking, when would I expect it? No, I want September. I want it to happen, before PulseCon and stuff. That'd be cool, right? I don't know. I think I'm looking at October now, honestly. But when it happens, when Richard has news, I think he's kind of learned not to say too much right now. But when there's news, it'll move faster than you think. So I hope September. Optimistically, I'd say October. It's got to be this year. I can't see it happening next year. So this year. So just gotta hang tight. Scroll down before I go back up to the questions. Frank Media. What's up, Frank Media? Appreciate having you here. Again, share the link, everyone. I don't do this is actually the first AMA I did. I don't know when or if I'm going to do another one. But your all's questions, your attendance and all that stuff definitely helps motivate me to come on here and just talk to you for like an hour or so. And share my security knowledge and all that. So appreciate you sharing the link and asking good questions when launch. Do I have another? Did I have number 6? Number 6, make mine number 6. I think I got to that one. And then number 7 is Matt. No, I got to that one. And yeah, I think I'm caught up. So ask some questions, everyone. Ask some questions. In the meantime, yeah, I mean, do you want to know about smart contract? I mean, you definitely got a lot of questions on there. I got stuff on cloud security, so I'll just kind of pop on the blog for a minute. I got Bitcoin versus Hex. I'll tell you a couple of my favorite blog posts. How about that? I'll do that real quick. Bitcoin versus Hex. I like this one. These things that, I spent a lot of time going through this and really coming up with. This was kind of motivated by thinking that I may do a debate, or may have done a debate with someone who took a Bitcoin side and me take the Hex side. So in preparation for that debate, if one were to happen sometime, it was just kind of floated around, but didn't happen. Don't know when it's going to happen. But if it did, I want to do some prep work. I want to have some good ways to defend Hex versus Bitcoin. And yeah, I put some time into research and trying to get the best points I can. So I talk about security, I talk about feature set, I talk about usability, I talk about trust, community, price performance, of course, all that stuff. And actually, it was hard to get some accurate numbers because there's so many conflicting charts go up and down. What data source do you use, especially when a coin is so new? Trying to get like what the prices were, the first week or so, and all this stuff. What numbers? It took me a lot of brain power trying to figure out what's the best way to share this data, and what's the best resources to go to get it. With Hex Daily Stats, Coin Metrics, all this stuff. I talked to Wells, and I was like, "Hey, Wells, where can I get this data? Like, where you do a lot of the stuff in this area, technical analysis side and all that." how to, what's the best way to, get this data and so I can represent it well. And I think I did an okay job, honestly. I think, I put my best out there on this one. So this is one of my favorites, I would say. And of course, I went through SciVive. Today, a wild SJ Red fixed the world. Amazing. I gotta go listen to it. The replay. It's a couple hours long, so not too bad. But I did commentary on SciVive, so if you're interested in that, I basically walked through a bunch of different quotes, and I kind of give my own commentary on it. And I think, that was pretty fun. Got me really into the scripture again of SciVive. I did some older posts on Maximus and Hedron as well. When Hedron first came out, the big controversy and stuff on that. Hex's game theory. Man, I forgot I did one. Hex's game theory. Basically on game theory, apparently. It's been a while since I looked at this one. Okay, cool. I forgot I did that blog. Crypto IRA, if you want to do stuff on a retirement account through Rocket Dollar. I think it's pretty cool. If you're interested, you can check that one out. We're doing a tour of Max's blog real quick. Not the worst blog. If you were to ask me, not the worst blog. Pulse Promise, if you want to check that. Mental models. Anyone that's been following me for a while knows I'm big into wisdom, health, wealth, happiness, all the journey I've been through on that and continue to go through. Security tips here we can get into if you all want to. Peter Thiel, one of my heroes, pretty cool guy. Very controversial, but that's cool. Richard's controversial. He's cool too. Glory. So if you had to choose one blog, if you were to ask me what's the one blog you should read from my blog, I would say Glory, just to understand Richard, what he's about, going through the playbook of how, what his whole deal, my opinion on his whole deal, what he's about, all this stuff. So another blog I'm proud of. Ratio trading. Yeah. So, okay. I think we got another question. I'll scroll back up. What do you recommend for PC mobile security? Cool. Good question. Take a drink real quick. Okay. From H Freeman 1000. Must be a gamer tag. Looks like a gamer name. I like it. What do you recommend for PC/mobile security beyond VPN, not sharing keys, not click? Well, I have a rant on VPNs if you ever want to hear that. Did I not write this down somewhere? I really should have. There's a video. Let me find it. I don't want to go through all the points because I don't keep these things off the top of my head all the time because you shouldn't memorize things that you can just look up quickly. So I'm just going to type in the VPN RHMax. And there's a video that I will share. No, pause. Okay. That me and Sloth talked about. So watch that video on why you probably don't need a VPN. Very controversial apparently, but as being in security for a long time, as someone who knows a lot about security, I can confidently say that you only need a VPN in certain cases, and using one at home, meh. I'll say that. I'll let you watch the video though. It gives, kind of goes through my points one by one. But I'll get back to your original question. What do you recommend for PC mobile security beyond VPN, not sharing, not clicking links? Well, I think I covered that in, let's see. Let's go through the security tips you never heard of, because I think I covered a lot of that stuff here. And also in the new blog post as well, if we need to reference that. But yeah, phishing. So it kind of goes with not clicking links, but I mean, there's some, more advanced phishing stuff you can do. You can use VirusTotal to check files, stuff like that. Palo Alto has a URL filter. Yeah, I'll talk about using VirusTotal here. Pretty cool. You can check signatures before you install wallet, run the app, blah, blah, blah. On mobile, I would just say I don't use crypto on mobile. I don't see any point of doing it. I think it's just, you're just adding risk, adding attack surface. I mean, of course, if you want to use the staker app and stuff, that's cool. But I choose to not mix mobile and crypto. I can do everything I need to do on a laptop. So that's my personal preference on as that part. Yeah, don't tell people. Opsec, don't tell people you have crypto. One. That way, so you don't want that. VPNs again. Okay, I kind of go over here a little bit. You kind of go, yeah. You can read the blog. I don't need to reiterate it. I've said on so many different. I don't know. Come on to Corey's stream. Come on, Corey Costa's crypto coins. Is it really that the name? CCCC, something like that. Come on his stream Wednesday. I'll be on there. He'll be interviewing me, and you can somebody asks about VPN, I'll go through it. But I've got some good data points. Trust me, I got some good data points. I'm not saying they're useless. I use them. A lot of people use them for corporate access. Getting into another network remotely. They have a use case, but the fact that everyone's trying to sell you a home VPN, the contrarian point should trigger too. If you're in it contrarian ideas, you should be like, oh, if everyone's doing it, then there must be something else. There must be something wrong with it, probably. And there is with VPN at home. Most of the time you don't need it. There's no one going to be attacking you sitting outside. No one's going to be on your network attacking you 99% of the time. So it's just so much hype and not worth it. I don't use VPN at home. If a security expert doesn't use VPN at home, you probably don't need one either. But if you're traveling, coffee shop, yes, VPNs are good for that. And then don't use Windows. I know some really exciting stuff, right? Don't use Windows when you're at least doing crypto stuff. Use Mac, use Linux, or just use Mac. No one's going to use Linux, I imagine, unless you're like super nerd. But just use Mac. It's they don't write a lot of viruses for Mac. I'll say that, and you can read about here why. Honorable mentions: multi-sig, opening files in a VM. Use a virtual machine. If you can muster the willpower to spend some time learning about virtual machines, they can save you a lot of time and effort as far as security goes, because they basically put an isolated computer inside your computer. You can run all the stuff you want. It won't affect your real computer. They're great. A lot of use cases for crypto. Use a different browser with MetaMask. So don't browse with the same browser. Like I said, if you have Chrome, if you normally use Firefox, install MetaMask on Chrome, vice versa. I don't really, again, about Telegram. I have a computer I use Telegram on, but I don't use it very often. I don't trust Telegram in a lot of ways. That's an interesting security model for the app as well. Again, I guess I'm probably a little more paranoid than most people, so I don't use Telegram too much. Good passwords, yeah. Use Signal. Don't use text-based 2FA. Yeah, just read the blog, and there's a lot of stuff, a lot of actionable stuff you can do in here. And then I'll go through a couple in the smart contract section, because at the end, yeah, keep your browser up to date. Again, if you weren't here in the beginning, the most boring, high ROI thing you can do is make sure your browser's up to date. Because most attacks these days, they don't come from IP address. Nobody's looking at your IP address trying to hack it, because that's something like they did 20 years ago. Very, very rarely people exercise attacks on IP addresses. Get any security person in the world on here to debate me. I will. I have some good data points, trust me. Don't worry about your IP address unless you don't want to be tracked or something. That's privacy tracking is different than security and stopping yourself from getting hacked and stuff. Your browser is what your biggest weakness in the modern day. Cool, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. Good question too. Yeah. You guys got any more questions? David James. Love me some David James. His shirtless photos just get better and better. Format C before you go to bed. Yeah, don't format C. And I would do a Linux joke, but no one's gonna know what I'm talking about. But yeah, format C doesn't work on a Chromebook. Chromebook question mark. I guess that means, are Chromebooks a good idea? Are they secure? I'm gonna just kind of make your question for you in that way. You can feel free to elaborate, but Chromebooks. Think about them like tablets. So our tablets, iPads, your phone, are they generally more secure than your standard Windows computer? I would say yes. I know it's kind of a loaded question, a loaded answer, but I would say yes. That's because they have limits on what programs they can run. They usually have a lot less attack surface than your standard Windows computer that can do everything. Think about it in general. Like if you have this machine and you have a very, very simple machine. It's complex on the inside, but it only lets you do so many things on the outside. And you have another machine that lets you do 100 things on the outside. Complex on the inside, but 100 things versus the first one lets you do 10 things. The 10 things is like your phone, this is because you're going to understand this analogy. It makes sense in my head, but computer can do has a lot more features that malware can take advantage of than a phone. And a phone has more than a tablet, an iPad, stuff like that, because of code signing and because of locking down apps and all these different security features. So Chromebook, is it better than Windows computer for crypto? Yes. Without a doubt. Try to turn all the Google stuff off. I would try to use a vanilla. It's kind of hard to use a vanilla. Yeah. How do you recommend using a generic tablet? Because then you don't have the guarantees. It's not like full of crap too. So yes, better than most. Dave James corrects himself on the format C. Chromebook will not use it. Yeah, that's a good point. Magic Carpet Ride. Okay. Chromebook, wow, it may be, you can do stuff on. I'm pretty sure you can install metamask on Chromebook. I don't know why you couldn't do that because it's just an extension that runs in Chrome, and a Chromebook, of course, runs Chrome. Will not run the Trezor app. Interesting. I wonder if it runs the Ledger app. Let's Google that real quick. Let's Google. Does Chromebook run Ledger Live? No, it's not. So that's a good point, Magic Carpet Ride. So if you want to use a hardware wallet, Chromebook doesn't appear to be super supported. Question. What will be some obstacles of automating wallet creation? Well, if you're automating your wallet, it means you're wanting to create. Matty Allen actually asked me some questions on this around this before too. Well, basically you just got to figure out how to generate a wallet and then run it in a loop. So if you're not a developer, a loop just basically does something a set number of times. So if you want to create 500 wallets, you say, okay, loop through 500 times, create a wallet, put the key somewhere, blah, blah, blah. So there's not a lot of obstacles, I don't think. I guess the biggest obstacle is how technical are you? Do you know how to interact with command line? Do you know how to, code in a loop or just hit enter 500 times, up enter? You do stuff like that if you want to do like 10 of them, but 500 is kind of torture. So I don't think there's a lot of obstacles as far as I can see. Well, let's find someone who agrees with VPNs to have time and place. Yes, we do agree, Laws. That is very refreshing. So many people don't agree with that. They think, oh, you're just trying to tell people, you're making them insecure because you're just trying to point out all these technical things. But in reality, it makes it more. Actually, VPN providers get hacked too. Go Google VPN providers get hacked. You're basically letting someone kind of get they can see in some ways what your traffic is. So it's kind of like using a public VPN service. It's okay if you work for a company, you work remote or whatever, and your company gets you VPN because basically the VPN makes it as if you have a physical connection, as if you're working in the office. You're connected to their corporate network. So it kind of got perverted a little bit when you use the internet VPN provider, the ones that will sell it to you for how much a month, subscription model, because of course it's subscription model. That's how they make all the money. And now you're not connecting to this very locked down corporate network. You're connecting to this network in the cloud somewhere. And how do you know that the people on that network who you probably have nothing in common other than you're scared on the internet and you want a VPN because people say VPN equals security. You're connected there. How do you know, those people aren't going to attack you? I'm sure they put in, different security protections there too, but that also strikes me as the point of a VPN is to get off of a hostile network. If you use a public VPN provider or a paid one or whatever, how do you know that's not a hostile network? Like if I set up a VPN, my own VPN server, and I connect to it remotely, I know it's not a hostile network because I own it and I've set it up and blah, blah, blah. At work, if you connect to one, you know that hopefully your company has an IT department who knows what they're doing, and it's not a hostile network. What guarantees do you have for a paid VPN provider? I don't know. So again, get around censorship. They're good for that. Public Wi-Fi, cool. Traveling, cool. Working, cool. At home, I don't get it. I think you're throwing your money away, in my opinion. But what do I know? I'm just a security person. Oh, okay. Hour 10. My voice is getting a little tired. And a drag on bandwidth. Yeah, don't forget that. It's like you're paying someone to make your internet slower. Cool. At home, again, they have their VPNs are good. They're just misused. I'll say it like that. Oh yeah, earlier VPN or the GitLab update is a troll. Yeah, they didn't have some nice trolls though. I'll say that. I mean, don't wish they would have said that, but or not. I guess Sydney's not the troll. Somebody heard it on Twitter or whatever. But I had this one troll. Should I even call him a troll? His name's Surge. He really don't say a lot of. He's not that bad. Definitely tolerable, and he actually contributes to some. He actually gets the discussion going in certain ways. So. Yeah, I'm thankful for nice trolls, I guess. Thank you, sir or madam, however you are. Magic Carpet Ride. Appreciate you following the channel. You definitely added some good, nice comments, nice positivity to it through the comments and subs and stuff. All right, everyone. I think we're gonna wrap it up. I hope this was helpful. You guys have some good questions. We didn't get to go through everything I thought we'd go through. I still got, we barely touched on a lot of subjects, but you all asked some good questions. So we may do this again sometime. If you have any other questions, hit me up on Twitter at RHMaximus, just the way it sounds, at RHMaximus. Just tweet at me, send me a DM if we follow each other, I guess. Or just tweet at me questions and I'll try to answer them, because I know some security stuff. And until next time, let's see what we got coming up on the show. We got Hexy Bastard coming Friday. I think Friday. Yeah, Hexy Bastard will be here talking about his PB coin, poor pleb coin. Yes, bring your Red Bulls and get ready for some action on that show. Should be fun. And we got some great guests lined up. We got some great guests, and we're going to continue pumping out some good content. And you all keep showing up. Keep showing up. To Magic Carpet Ride, you two guys. We are two guys. All right, two guys. I like two guys. That's cool. See us you can see us on your channel. Yes. We love and preach security. Yeah, check out your channel. I'll have to check out your channel. I apologize. I haven't checked it out yet. I know some people come on here, they have channels, but I don't, it's kind of hit and miss. I'll kind of click on them and some people don't, some people do. So interesting YouTube. You can't just have a name. Your name has to be your channel. And you don't really know if people have channels or not, I guess. Unless they have. Yeah, hard to say. Footsteps, yeah, appreciate it. Thank you for coming. And see you all on Friday. And we will go to the outro. Have a good one. Oh, we got one more after reading blog review questions. Yeah, for sure. Footsteps. Yeah, please. if you want to spend some time reading the blog, that's kind of my brain dump. That's where I put a lot of stuff. So if you want to learn and you don't know about some of these things, my blog is where I try to put my best material. So it's a hidden gem if you want to learn about security and otherwise. So thank you, everyone. I will see you in a few days. Hit me up on Twitter. Follow, subscribe, like, all that good stuff. Thanks. I'm out.